This podcast is brought to you by Molten Balls, official ball of the UPSL. Hey footy fans, you're listening to the UPSL Podcast. I'm Dennis Pope and I'm here with Eftekhari. This is the first show of 2018 and it's a big one. We have the UPSL Fall Championship draw coming up in just a little bit. I'll be picking balls out of glass jars and determining who plays who in the upcoming UPSL Fall National Championships. We'll also talk about the recent Western Conference Finals, where OC Invicta and Santa Ana Winds emerged victorious to move on to the National Championships. Art and I were both at the Santa Ana Winds OCFC game, so we'll chat about that. Also on Sunday was the Florida Conference semifinals, where FC Jinga moves on to play Broncos United in the Florida Conference Final on Wednesday night. There's been a ton of expansion around the league, with AAFC Lumberjacks joining the league, Pinecrest SC joining the league, Summerlin Red Rocks out of Nevada added, Inocentes Fort Worth coming to the league, and Santa Fe Wanderers joining us from Kansas City, Kansas. Recently, the UPSL Year in Review was released, with Commissioner Jan Squar laying out his vision for the future, so we'll dive into that a little bit. Also, like I mentioned, the Fall Season National Championships are this weekend in Los Angeles. The top 8 teams from around the league will convene to play at 3 different sites throughout Los Angeles, with the champion determined on Sunday night in Lake Forest, California. And finally, coming up in 2 weeks is the UPSL Eastern Summit in Philadelphia, coinciding with the United Soccer Coaches Convention. So there's a lot going on. It's been a busy time, but we're going to get back to the Western Conference Championship games. Art and I were at the Santa Ana Winds victory over OCFC2 on Sunday night. And Art, first and foremost, the penalty kick shootout. It changed the dynamic of the whole game, right? It was 2-2 going into the shootout. It took extra kicks to determine. And then eventually Santa Ana Winds got the last kick. OCFC's kicker kicked his over the bar to finish the game. But prior to the shootout, it was pretty evenly matched game, with OCFC2 getting the first goal, Santa Ana Winds coming from behind to take a 2-1 lead before OCFC got a late penalty kick to tie the game. What do you think were a couple of the defining moments from that match?
You know, in all honesty, I feel like it's a little difficult to think about the defining moments. Clearly, one of them was when Santa Ana got back into the game. They did a good job building out their confidence. You know, they're one of the hottest teams in the UPSL lately. That's for sure. And overall, the game went back and forth, in my opinion. There was times where Santa Ana was the better side. There was times where OCFC2 was the better side. And, you know, even towards the end of the game, you know, I felt like at the time that, you know, OCFC looked like, you know, they had the advantage. Let's just say, had there been extra time, I felt like Santa Ana was running out of gas at times. But overall, though, like I said, it was a back-and-forth game.
Yeah, to add extra time to the game, I don't know, would have done too much to the game. Both teams were kind of out of sorts there at the end, and I think even the penalty kick shootout showed that. It took extra kicks to get it done. So the argument in favor of 15 minutes of, well, the argument in favor of 30 minutes of extra time added on to that match that already went till 10:30 West Coast time, I think would have been a kind of brutal experience for the fans had they also had to go through the penalty kick shootout. But it was a fun match. It was tactically, you could see what each team was trying to do to the other. Santa Ana's very forward heavy. They try to get the ball up the sides so their wings can cross it into their big forward. Whereas OCFC tried to control the ball a little bit more, try to let Dakota Collins pick apart the Santa Ana Winds defense, and he did a good job of that. I think aside from Santa Ana Winds goalkeeper there at the end, Dakota Collins was the man of the match. He was just maybe a step or two ahead of the Winds defense, trying to make plays, and then he scored the goal. He didn't earn the penalty, but he stepped up to take the penalty. Winds keeper stopped it, but Collins was there to head the ball in, right? It was a pretty spectacular goal to tie the game. But I was able to talk to Winds goalkeeper Quinn Harder afterwards. What did it take to hang in there, make it happen?
I think the perseverance we showed all season. We were clearly a second half half team. If you look at the goals we scored throughout the season, it was clearly the second half. We just kept fighting for 90 minutes, and that tended to be our theme throughout the season. I think that just carried out. Let's play here tonight.
The early goal, did that serve as a wake-up call maybe a little bit for you guys?
Definitely. I felt like it was nerves first 20 minutes, and after that, we started settling in, getting used to the game, and we tend to fight from behind a lot, and in these big games, we just second half team, like I said, so I really got to credit to the guys and nerves up front, putting in the goals to help us out.
You guys make it to the UPSL Fall Season Championships next weekend. 3 more games potentially. How do you guys approach that?
I think right now we got to take care of our bodies first, and then strategically kind of see. We have to play 2 games one day if we are able to win, so lineups have to change a little bit, and rest key players, and I think minutes have to be watched. But we got to take it one game at a time. If we don't win, we don't get a second game, so we just got to play one game at a time.
Right. Comes down to the shootout, right? You're able to make the save to preserve your guys' tie there, and then he kicks it over the bar. Tell me the thought process there, the last couple kicks.
Last 2, I felt like I knew where they were going. I blocked the second to last one, so I really knew which way he was going. And the last one, I felt like I guessed the right side, and since I guessed the right side, that's what made him go over, because he probably saw my body going into that post. So my presence maybe on that side caused him to go a little higher than he wanted to.
Yeah, and penalty kick shootouts, for lack of a better term, are a crapshoot. I mean, it could go either way, honestly, and I think it comes down to nerves the longer it goes. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely agree with that, and for the fans as well watching, depending on who you were supporting, it also became nerve-wracking as well, because you're not taking anything away from the players at all. Your first 5 penalty kick takers are the ones that you're choosing as your top 5 penalty kick takers. Once you start getting into sudden death penalties, you start thinking, okay, there's going to be some players who probably might not want to take a kick. I mean, if it kept on going on, you would have had the goalies even taking penalties. I mean, that would have been really exciting in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the shootout, but the game has to come to an end somehow, and you can't just keep playing because it becomes a brutal experience for players and fans alike. And the UPSL's policy is to go straight to a shootout in overtime matches and playoff scenarios. So it is what it is, and wins moves on to their first UPSL National Championship Tournament appearance, and they'll represent the Western Conference coming up.
And when we come back, we'll have the draw for the UPSL Fall 2017 National Championships. Stay tuned.
Do you want to advertise with the fastest growing pro development league in the country? Advertise with the UPSL. You'll reach more than 70 different soccer markets in more than 20 different states. For more information, go to upslsoccer.com or follow UPSL on Twitter at UPSL Soccer.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. It is now time to conduct the draw for the UPSL Fall 2017 National Championships. I want to make a few things clear for you. In front of me, I have 2 jars. One of them has teams from the UPSL Pro Premier Western Conference. Those 2 teams are Santa Ana Winds FC and OC Invicta FC. The other 2 teams come from the Wild West Conference, and those teams are Stompers Juniors and Real San Jose FC. In the other jar, we have the soon-to-be-determined Florida champion. We have Boise FC, Las Vegas Soccer Club, and Indios Denver FC. This procedure we are using will ensure that there will not be 2 teams from the same conference playing each other in the quarterfinals of the UPSL Fall 2017 National Championships. Dennis, I think it's time for us to begin. Are you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right.
And these are beautiful, beautiful glass jars that have been supplied by Vlasic Pickle Company, and they're just gorgeous.
Okay, and the way this procedure will work is Dennis will select the ping pong balls out of the jars, and I will read that team.
Here we go.
First we have Santa Ana Winds FC. Now for the other jar. We'll find out now who Santa Ana Winds FC will be playing. Next we have Boise FC. So with that first two selections, the first match we have is Santa Ana Winds FC versus Boise FC. Now for the next match, we have Stompers FC of the Wild West Conference. Now for the opponent, we have Las Vegas Soccer Club. So the next quarterfinal matchup will be Stompers Juniors against Las Vegas Soccer Club. All right, Dennis, let's keep it going.
4 teams left. Here we go.
First, we have Real San Jose. Their opponent, Indios Denver. So the third quarterfinal matchup will be Indios Denver versus Real San Jose.
Which means that the fourth and final quarterfinal matchup will be between OC Invicta FC and the upcoming Florida Conference champion, to be determined on Wednesday night in a matchup between FC Jinga and Broncos United.
Thank you, Dennis. And like Dennis just said, we'll have to wait to get that matchup clarified. But yes, it will be OC Invicta FC versus the Florida champion.
So let's go over the matchups one more time. First off, we have Santa Ana Winds FC taking on Boise FC. Santa Ana wins, of course, with a dramatic 6-5 victory over OCFC 2. Boise FC, the Desert Mountain Conference champion. That should be an entertaining matchup. Next up, we have East Bay Stompers Juniors versus Las Vegas Soccer Club. Stompers Junior, a new entrant into the UPSL this year, just like Las Vegas Soccer Club. So we'll have to wait and see what that matchup brings us. The third quarterfinal is between Real San Jose, one of the Wild West champions from the fall season, against Indios Denver FC, which won their first Colorado Conference championship in the Ed Ide Classic Cup with an exciting victory over Lagrones FC about 2 weeks ago. And of course, the fourth and final quarterfinal matchup, OC Invicta FC, this season's Western Conference champion, will take on whoever the Florida Conference champion turns out to be. So there's quite a bit of intrigue there. You got West versus East in the final game. OC Invicta, the top team on the UPSL's West Coast, versus the de facto UPSL Eastern Conference champion.
And now, the UPSL Fall 2017 National Championships will be taking place on January 13th and 14th in Southern California and the greater Los Angeles area. Quarterfinals will be played on Saturday morning, January 13th at 8 a.m. 2 quarterfinal matchups will be played at Silver Lakes Complex in Norco, California. During that same time, 2 other quarterfinal matchups will be played at Lake Forest Sports Park in Lake Forest, California. On that same day, Saturday the 13th, at nighttime, the winners from the quarterfinal matchups will make it to the semifinals. And those semifinals will take place on the same day, but at nighttime, January 13th, at Orange County Great Park in Irvine, California. And of course, the winners of the semifinals will make it to the final match, which will take place on Sunday night, the 14th of January, at Lake Forest Sports Park in Lake Forest, California. So, Dennis, sounds like this is going to be a very, very exciting weekend.
Yeah, it should be a good one, and UPSL Media will be out there providing updates all weekend long.
And make sure you know the handle at UPSL Soccer if you want up-to-date information on the UPSL Fall 2017 National Championships. And when we come back, we will talk about the UPSL Eastern Summit that will take place in Philadelphia. So Dennis, the UPSL Eastern Summit is coming up in Philadelphia on January 20th. What are you most excited about?
Well, the plane trip out there, I've never been to Philadelphia, so that should be fun. Also, we're at the Marriott at the end of Broad Street at the Navy Yard, so that should be some historic stuff going on down there. And of course, we got the UPSL Eastern Summit on January 20th. Was sold out 4 hours at the Marriott Ballroom there, and we're expecting all the UPSL's new Eastern teams to arrive. And I want to remind all the UPSL Eastern teams to be sure to RSVP as soon as possible. Email info@upslsoccer.com. Get your RSVP in and let us know that you're going to be there. And it should be an exciting time. Everybody getting together on the East Coast and the UPSL party that may or may not ensue.
The weather's not going to be what you call favorable, but do you still plan on running up the stairs like Rocky?
God, I hope that giant, crazy mob disaster storm thing that's going on the East Coast is gone by then. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to see the sights in Philadelphia. I'm really there less than 48 hours, so I'm going to have to jam in a bunch of cheesesteaks and Liberty Bell stuff and make it all happen as soon as possible. So I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a fun trip, a good moment for the UPSL.
I do hope you enjoy yourself at the Eastern Summit in the city of brotherly love. And that is it for this edition of the UPSL Podcast. Happy New Year to everyone. For Dennis Pope, I'm Eftekhari. We'll see you next time.